Our presentation today, it's set to last just under an hour, during which we'll focus on these three primary topics. So, number one, the key challenges for small and medium businesses in a hybrid work world. IT security with Microsoft 365, Microsoft Defender for Business, enterprise-grade device security, and finally the business benefits of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. It reduces cost and complexity. Next slide, please. I think we all understand the sentiment in the world that's always evolving. We face unceasing challenges. A few years ago, we all strived to function efficiently, while most, if not all, of our workforce transitioned to work from home. That brought a unique set of risks, using public Wi-Fi, transferring of data, even individuals being more susceptible to phishing attacks without colleagues nearby to them for a quick check. Moreover, also the emergence of AI recently. We see the potential for an increase in cyber attacks and more advanced techniques being used. You may be aware that Akita have invested heavily recently in a dedicated security division in direct correlation to these threats. The following presentation will help outline some of the tools that are accessible to you and help improve your security. I'm now going to hand over to Nicola Miller and Lauren Godfrey from Ingram Micro, who will take you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. My name is Nicola Miller. I work for Ingram Micro, and myself and Lauren will take you through this presentation today. As Sean said, if you do have any questions, then please pop them in the chat, and then we can obviously ask any of those questions that you do have, either during, hopefully, some of them might be able to get answered as we're going through, or afterwards from the team at Akita. So if we look at today, the challenges that we see on the horizon, we have what we call a new norm, and this has been demonstrated in order to how do businesses thrive. Since pandemic, obviously a lot has changed, and we've really invested in terms of making sure that developing the capabilities in really key three areas. So real-time collaboration. So how do we collaborate? Most of the time people are generally working from home, so 70% of the workforce have some sort of work from home built in, or they are less likely to actually go out and see people face to face. So the real-time collaboration within the things like Teams, etc., will be obviously is quite prudent, but actually the security element. Security is a major area that we'll be looking at, and this is the stuff that we'll be going through today. But how do we balance that out with cost? This presentation is very much geared to SMEs, so in making sure that actually that it is cost effective, but equally looking at old legacy and on-premise solutions where they just doesn't essentially solve some of the challenges that we're facing. So the point solutions don't solve those challenges, so a comprehensive integrated solution is what we'll be looking at today, and a lot of this will be geared around the licensing of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. So in essence, how do we do this, and what does it look like? So business owners around the world recognise that actually there has obviously been a lot of change. So with the modern technology stack, the word digital transformation is obviously banded around quite a lot. And in terms of the benefits of cloud-based collaboration, productivity and security, and the need for this has never been any greater. And these kind of data points really show that SMEs, so owners, understand the need to accelerate the digital transformation, and then they often don't just need to know really know where to start when we come down to it. So increasingly, I recognise that benefits are the businesses that are vulnerable to phishing, ransomware, and other security threats. But again, they're not sure really how to go about it. And they know that they need to conserve cash in order to weather some uncertain times. But together with the right tools to hand and how we can help grow your business, Microsoft 365 solutions are really designed to equip business owners to respond to the three key challenges. And hopefully within this presentation today, we'll be able to show you a really good solution around this. So these solutions will hopefully let you be more collaborative and connect with your people, secure your business with technologies that you can trust, and hopefully reduce those overarching costs. costs, which is always the pain point, essentially. But you may really want to ask, what is Microsoft 365? So essentially, Microsoft 365 is a collaboration suite that Microsoft have put together. You may have heard of Office 365. Microsoft 365 is where we start adding things along the lines when it comes down to the security suite. So actually, what's going to stop people be able to phish, or how it's going to remediate those issues in terms of letting the bad people in, essentially. So if you're running a business, we all know that the world has changed a lot in the last few years, and we're dealing with business landscape with the remarkable difference from, say, 3 years ago. Earlier, as a business, you probably have had employees that were co-located and were able to collaborate easily as they worked from the same office, and it was also easier to do business with customers and partners through personal meeting and physical commerce. However, with today's employees are working from home or from multiple locations, and how you work with customers and suppliers and partners, etc., has also changed. And you're probably not meeting them in person as much and doing much business transactions wise face to face, and they're more moved to online. And there is a great growing realization that remote and distributed work is here to stay. So we're going to do it. Let's make sure we do it right. The fact that Gartner Inc. surveyed that 74% will move to some sort of on-site from workforce than permanently what was remote following COVID. So now I'm going to hand over to Lauren, so you don't get bored of my voice.
Thanks, Nicola. So we're going to take a look at the security aspects of Microsoft 365 Business Premium. So Microsoft 365 Business Premium brings together the key capabilities you need to enable work from anywhere. You can collaborate using Microsoft Teams, you can secure your identity, data and devices, and you can provide remote access and virtual desktops. As a customer, it eliminates the need for multiple point solutions and helps reduce your operational costs with a comprehensive offering that lowers support help desk and maintenance costs while simplifying licensing, so you can focus on driving business with your customers. And finally, sometimes we've had murmurs to the effect of, why should I trust Microsoft to be my security vendor? Or is Microsoft serious about security? Here's some proof if you're not convinced. As the enterprise software leader with over 90% of Fortune 500 companies, security and privacy are core to how we build software. From Windows to Exchange to Xbox, Azure, for example, we blocked 11 billion malicious and suspicious messages in 2019, powered by AI and intelligence across our platform. Our digital crimes unit has been at the forefront of taking down botnets and thwarting cyber attacks. And here are some of the stats to show some of Microsoft's security credentials. Microsoft 365 Business Premium is really cost competitive versus point solutions. If you think about the capabilities in Business Premium, including Defender for Office 365, Entra for ID, Intune, DLP, AIP, obviously Microsoft love acronyms, so DLP is data loss prevention, and AIP is Azure Information Protection. Upgrade rights for Windows Pro and more, it's a lot more cost competitive versus point solutions where you'd be paying almost double the price. Defender for Business makes Microsoft 365 Business Premium an even more complete and competitive solution with enterprise-grade and cross-platform endpoint security. Plus, you also get the benefit of a solution that's designed to work well together versus trying to get disparate point solutions to work. As well as what you are seeing on this slide, Microsoft's technology has been recognised as best in class by many influential analysts. In the last year, Gartner designated Microsoft as a leader in 5 Magic Quadrants. Recognising Microsoft's commitment to protect all customers, small business and enterprises, Microsoft was just named a leader in IDC MarketScape for modern endpoint security for enterprise and small and mid-sized businesses. And there's more. We have a number of third-party benchmark testing organisations attested to quality. One of the core needs of any small business is a good antivirus solution. The good news is that Microsoft Defender AV is now ranked as a top AV by tests such as AV Test, AV Comparatives, FT Labs, and more. So to recap, Microsoft 365 Business Premium brings together multi-layered security with your productivity and collaboration tools so you can run your business from anywhere with peace of mind. There's protection across identity, device application, Wi-Fi, as well as data. Starting with the user, we'll talk about protecting identity and access, e.g. against lost or stolen passwords with multi-factor authentication, as well as controlling who can access your business data with conditional access. The protection continues to the devices that access your data. First, Microsoft Defender for Business will be included in Microsoft 365 Business Premium, which brings enterprise-grade endpoint security against malware and ransomware through technologies like endpoint detection and response and threat and vulnerability management. Additionally, with Intune, whether an employees use personal or company-owned devices, you have the ability to remotely wipe lost and stolen devices and protect work data on personal employee-owned phones and tablets. The apps that are used to access work data can also be managed, e.g. using Intune app protection policies to block Word documents being saved in personal apps like a personal share. Additionally, Defender for Office 365 capabilities help defend against phishing and other cyber threats by checking links and attachments in real time in Teams, Outlook, and OneDrive. With DLP and AIP, you can automatically classify and protect sensitive information and restrict forwarding or copying of sensitive emails and documents. The good news is the solution is Microsoft 365 Business Premium. It provides comprehensive, secure, and remote work solution to help address all of these needs. It brings together your favorite productivity tools from Word, Excel, Outlook, and Microsoft Teams, along with advanced remote access, security, and device management capabilities. Basically, one solution that has all you need to run and grow your business while having peace of mind that your business information is protected. So let's talk about the security capabilities in Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And for this, I'm going to hand back to Nicola.
Thank you, Lauren. So enabling security access from anywhere and protecting identity are key areas within the Microsoft 365 Business Premium. I think one question that we need to look at is like how vulnerable are SMEs? So there's a 300% increase in ransomwares, with more than 50% directed at small businesses. We may have looked back in past times and you hear about the big hacks from maybe Sony, the NHS, the Bank of Bangladesh. You look at these and you would look and think, well, actually, is it just enterprise grade size companies that are actually being hacked? It isn't. Unfortunately, because these big prestigious events have happened, the SMBs are essentially, or the SMEs are generally tend to be sitting ducks. And really, in terms of when it comes down to small and medium businesses, they face that threat that enterprise have had, but they don't really go about it with quite the same protection. And sometimes these have had really catastrophic outcomes. And the average data breach for SMBs is around £100,000. However, I will caveat that and say that I have seen some of these triple that number. There is certain things that we can do and we will look at, and that's why this makes it such economic sense for small businesses to invest within security. And what SMBs tell us is that they need a solution that can help them with optimizing hybrid working whilst protecting against cyber threats whilst still maintaining the costs. So obviously there is always a balance. So one of the areas we look at is MFA. So MFA can stop a lot of this from start. So in terms of passwords, they are the weakest link in the security chain. And without any additional verification, it is just a single point of failure. And that's why we believe strongly that if you only do one thing to protect yourself, it would be to turn the multi-factor authentication on, which is MFA, which is can prevent 99.9% of identity attacks. And why we support a broad range of these authentication options to fit your needs of you and your business and also your users. Wordless passwordless methods, such like MFA, are more convenient to users. So passwordless Microsoft MFA credentials include Microsoft Authenticator, which is personally what we use, which is great for flexibility, convenience, cost. We recommend using the Microsoft Authenticator mobile app. Microsoft Authenticator supports biometrics, push notification, one-time passcodes, and for Entra for ID connected apps. It's free to download from the Apple and Android app stores. We also have Windows Hello, which is great built-in experience PCs, and we recommend using Windows Hello. It uses your face or fingerprint to sign in automatically. The FIDO2 security keys are also available for several of our partners, so Yucub and HDI Global in a USB, and NFC-enabled badges with biometric keys. And we have over 100 million users on passwordless authentications, and this number is just going to get bigger. At Ignite, we did announce that we'll be extending the passwordless authentication to include things for hybrid environments. So if you are hesitant on turn on MFA, there are ways to minimize disruption and to make it a much smoother transition for your users. With the right access policies, you can prompt users for MFA only when it's in necessary conditions. So you can utilize in conditional access that will cover UNEC, which we'll cover onto next, sorry. And you can also use self-cert portals for quick registration. And password reset, saving your help desk thousands or even millions of dollars each year. So when we look in distributing the work environment, it providing the right people with the right access, this becomes critical. And with Entra for ID, conditional access, you can have control of when, where, and who connect to the Office apps. For example, you can create a policy that blocks access when someone attempts to log in from a country which you just don't do business in. Or you can utilize the conditional access to restrict access if a user is logging in from an unrecognized or possibly a compromised device. Plus, you can combine MFA with conditional access policies. So this would require MFA when someone accesses your work data from a location that's not trusted, like a country, as I say, that you just don't do business in. And additionally, we recently announced that we'll be bringing the full capabilities of Entra for ID Premium Plan 1 to Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And with this, you get the benefits of the powerful features like Ad Proxy that will help employees to remotely access on-prem web applications without the need of opening a broad access to the company's network. And with dynamic groups, you can help reduce administration overheads by adding and removing users from security groups. So you can assign users to a sales group, users to a dynamic group, to assign users to groups that automatically, and then then these groups will be able to get granted access for these certain applications. Then we're going to be looking at Office Defender for Office 365. This personally is probably one of my favourite parts of the Business Premium because essentially when we're shifting from working from the office to working from home, those cyber threats, those cyber attacks, phishing, it all increases. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 helps safeguard your users' identity and defense against cyber threats. Whilst it includes cyber threats like phishing attacks and ransomware, we know that your customers are concerned. So Microsoft 365 Business Premium protects your business from these external threats by giving you access to the same enterprise-grade services and protections used by many of the larger companies in the world. How it works is that links are checked in real time to warn you if the destination is a malicious site with safe links. So when a user clicks on the URL, probably Sony's a good one because that was hacked via a link in a CV on a URL. It happens a lot. It is the easiest way in. This basically gets checked and the email then gets looked at. So the defender for safe links, and it's identified that actually it's malicious, and essentially that gets stopped. So for an example, you will see this warning page, as you see on the right, with the big red cross on there, and this is deemed as malicious. The Defender Safe Attachments features in Office 365 Business Premium scans each and every attachment coming in via email. So when a safe attachments policy is in place, email attachments are opened and tested in the virtual sandbox environment. And if it's determined to be malicious, the attachment just will not open. The protection also applies to attachments shared via SharePoint Online, OneDrive, and also Teams. An AI-powered anti-phishing intelligence helps protect against impersonation and spoofing with anti-phishing. The combat and the latest phishing methods where attackers impersonate a person or a brand, machine learning is used to analyse the past email patterns and the relationships to find anomalies and indicate spoofing has occurred. And by enforcing Microsoft Defender malware protection across all your company's Windows 10 and 11 devices, you can help prevent users from interacting with ransomware and malicious web locations to protect files in key systems for making changes for ransomware to make those changes. And most businesses are dealing with a variety of sensitive information. So this could be customers' credit card details, it could be date of birth, it could be intellectual property that is the core of running the business. So keeping this information safe can actually be quite a daunting task for businesses, especially if you are in SMBs. Business Premium can help protect your business, data, and sensitive customer or employee information from accidental leakage by utilising data loss prevention, that's what we use for DLP, capabilities. And these DLP policies can help to identify, monitor, and protect sensitive information through deep content analysis. Even if your staff forget to apply these controls, it's included pre-configured templates that we can help detect specify types of sensitive information, so being communicated. So this could be such as credit cards, date of birth, general passport information, all that kind of stuff. It can also look at specific personal identifier information. It also can provide policies on tips which can help educate and prevent the end user from accidentally sharing of this sensitive information by displaying a policy tip in Outlook. And with Microsoft 365, your employees can easily encrypt emails and documents or impose controls as in do not print, do not forward. And this helps you communicate securely with customers or other people outside of your company to ensure that only the intended recipient can read the messages. So when we look at Azure Information Protection, this gives you the option to classify and protect important information and apply these appropriate controls. You can control where a document can be edited, printed and viewed by non-employees. It applies to documents sitting in file shares or SharePoint or wherever you decide to put them. You can also revoke access to an employee that has left the company. So let's take an example. Say Megan is the sales manager for a Contoso company. She creates a company's annual sales forecast and classifies it as highly confidential. This essentially locks the document because the company's highly confidential files are automatically encrypted. The only access to the company is only access to the company employees. And after Megan shares the file with her team, Carlos, a Contorso salesperson, attempts to open the file. And when he opens the file, Microsoft 365 Business Premium verifies that he is a Contorso employee, and it de-encrypts the file for him. This verification occurs each time that file is accessed. This protection stays with the document even if it's saved outside the company. So let's say that Carlos saves the document to a USB drive and then gets a job with another company. And even though Carlos still has Contorso's sales forecast, it is essentially useless to him because when he tries to open the file, he is unable to decrypt it. And since he no longer is a Contorso employee, the restrictions and protections stay with the file and email regardless of that location. I'm now going to hand back to Lauren, who's going to go through securing personal and company-owned devices with Intune.
Thanks, Nicola. So as employees work from multiple locations and use both personal and company-owned devices, you want a way to manage and secure these devices and the work data on them. With Microsoft Intune, it's easy to manage PCs and mobile devices so you have peace of mind that your business data is safeguarded. Plus, with Autopilot, it becomes easy to quickly provision and deploy new devices to employees remotely. So there's a couple of ways to approach device management. You can look at mobile application management, or MAM, which is typically for personally owned devices, so the company only has control over the applications used for business purposes. Users can use their personal devices to access organizational resources. And for example, you can apply app protection policies to help ensure that corporate data is only saved on OneDrive for business versus a personal store. The other thing to look at is mobile device management, which is typically used for company-owned devices. Users enroll their devices and use certificates to communicate with Intune. It gives you the ability to configure mobile device policies such as enforcing complex PINs or passwords, remote wipe and lock, and device encryption, etc. MAM is more common in SMB scenarios due to bringing your own device environments, and you can easily manage these policies through the simple setup wizard. Let's look at an example in depth. With Microsoft 365 Business Premium, we have multi-layered protection, which allows us to protect the data at the app level without the need for traditional containerizing or sandboxing. And because we leverage the user identity in our approach, we can enable multi-identity usage of apps, where app policies are intelligent enough to only apply to data applicable to corporate accounts on employee-owned devices. Our capabilities here include app encryption at rest, app access control, PIN or credentials, save as copy-paste restrictions, app level selective wipe, managed web browsing, and secure viewing of PDFs, images, and videos. Intune is the only mobility management solution that can control Office with this much granular control without compromising on the end user experience. With MAM, we have built an invisible wall between the personal data and the corporate data while not impacting the user experience. Employees are able to use the apps like Word and Outlook that they know and love, while at the same time, IT is able to protect the data contained within the apps and devices. Let's now take a closer look at how app-level policies can help keep company data and information secure. Our user receives a work email through her managed Outlook account with an attached Excel spreadsheet containing information she needs for a report. Our user opens the attachment in her Excel mobile application to find the information she needs. She then wants to copy the info to add to her report. But when she tries to paste it into a personal notepad, it doesn't work. The personal notepad is not a managed app, and because we've applied policies that restrict copy, paste, and cut functions to only apps that are part of this managed app ecosystem for Intune enrolled devices, so our user opens her Microsoft Word mobile app, which is managed by Intune, and she's successfully able to paste her information. Now our user wants to save the working copy of her report to her personal OneDrive account so that she can access it from her home computer. Because her personal OneDrive account is not one of the managed applications, she's unable to save it here because we've applied policies restricting the ability to save to only apps that are part of the managed app ecosystem. So our user must save her working copy to her managed OneDrive for Business account, which means when she does want to work on this report from another device, this device will have to be enrolled for management. By using the mobile application management capabilities of Intune, you can help prevent leakage of important company data and make sure that this information doesn't get into the wrong hands. Traditionally, getting a new PC ready involves a lot of heavy lifting, e.g. spending time building and customizing images that will be later deployed to devices. Windows Autopilot introduces a new approach that cuts time in deploying new devices to users wherever they may work, so you can be up and running quickly. From the user's perspective, it only takes a few simple operations to make their device ready to use. And the only interaction required from the end user is to connect to the network and verify their credentials. Everything beyond that is automated and reduces the effort and resources needed from IT. By leveraging cloud-based services, it can reduce the overall cost for deploying, managing, and retiring devices by enabling you to automatically join devices to Entra for ID, or Active Directory as it used to be known, via hybrid Entra for ID join. You can auto-enroll devices into MDM services, such as Microsoft Intune. You can create and auto-assign devices to configuration groups based on a device's profile, and you can customize OOBE content specific to this organization. I'm going to hand you back to Nicola.
Thank you, Lauren. So within this part, this is the last piece that we do have, is around talking through a new product that has been brought to the Microsoft Business Premium suite, which is called Microsoft Defender for Business. So today, with Business Premium, it has AV capabilities that come with your Windows devices. However, given the increased volume and sophistication of cyber threats, we believe that SMB now needs a greater level of endpoint security across platforms and devices, and this is why we launched Microsoft Defender for Business. This is an enterprise-grade security endpoint security, to businesses with up to 300 users. And that brings the power of advanced technologies like EDR, so endpoint detection and response, to SMBs in a simple and cost-effective solution. You can use Defender for Business to elevate your security from traditional antiviruses to next-gen antivirus protection. The endpoint detection and response and the threat and vulnerability management it offers simplifies configuration and management with intelligent automated investigation and response to help you protect your endpoints. Defender for Business brings together additional endpoint security capabilities in one package to remove the need for separate web and network protection, threats and vulnerability management solutions. It proactive automated investigation and response means that IT administrators can prioritize only on security events that need their attention. So with enterprise-grade endpoint protection, security across your devices with AI-powered automation to rapidly protect, detect, and respond to threats. It's easy to use by using streamlined onboarding management experiences that provide actionable insights for ease of use, and the cost effectiveness, endpoint security that helps keep your productivity with your work without IT compromising your budget. And the best part around Microsoft Defender for Business will include within the Microsoft 365 Business Premium with no additional cost. It is E5 security value being added to Microsoft 365 Business Premium. With this addition, Microsoft Business Premium really offers an unparalleled and comprehensive suite to SMBs. From Teams to Office to enterprise-grade security with Defender for Business for endpoint and device protection against ransomware and other malwares, Defender for Office 365, for emails, collaboration, protection against phishing and other cyber threats, and Intune for device management, employee and company-owned devices, Entra for ID Premium Plan 1 for identity protection and enables secure remote access, with Azure information protection and data loss prevention for data protection for sensitive data, Exchange Online archiving, Azure Virtual Desktop, and much more. It is a great value. It's simple, it's easy packaged versus going from point solutions which can cost double with the prices in many cases. So with Defender for Business, it does provide centralized security experience for Windows and also non-Windows platforms. You are able to see alerts and incidents from various supported operating systems in Microsoft 365 Defender, and the better protects your organization and its network. It's a simplified wizard-driven onboarding and security management experience that are built for Windows operating systems only, and the additional OS support from macOS, iOS, Android, Linux are also being rolled out. To onboard and manage other operation systems, you will require the use of Microsoft Intune services throughout the Microsoft Endpoint Manager admin portal, and you can onboard Mac OS, iOS using Intune, and using Intune or local scripts can onboard Mac OS and virtual desktops. So to simplify the onboarding and the administration for Windows operating systems, Defender for Business simplifies the onboarding and security configuration flows using the wizard driven as a flow to guide you through the process of protecting your device. Using Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you can quickly onboard existing devices from Microsoft Intune. With the threat and vulnerability management, this helps you prioritise and focus on the weaknesses that pose the most urgent and the highest risk to your business. And by discovering, prioritising and remediating software vulnerabilities and misconfiguration, can proactively build a secure foundations for your environment. Attack surface reduction reduces your attack surface, so a place that your company is vulnerable to a cyber attack. This is across your devices, applications, by using capabilities such as ransomware mitigation, application controls, web protection, network firewalls, and an attack surface reduction rules. The next generation protection helps prevent and protects against threats at your front door with anti-malware, antivirus protection on your devices and also in the cloud. Endpoint detection and response, the EDR, get behavioural-based detections and response alerts, allowing you to identify persistent threats and remove them from your environment manually. Manual response actions with Defender for Business will allow you to act on processes and files, and while live responses will put indirect controls in your devices that will make sure that it's remediated, secured, and also ready to go. Automated investigation and remediation helps you to scale your security operation by examining alerts, taking immediate action to resolve attacks for you, and by reducing alert volume by remediating threats. Defender for Business allows you to prioritise on tasks and focus on more sophisticated threats. And APIs and integrations, automated workflows and integrated security data into your existing security platforms and reporting tools. For example, you can pull detection from Defender for Business into your security information and even the management tools. So let's have a little look at the capabilities here. So to end this section, we've got a quick overview of the Defender for Business, and it goes up against the broader portfolio. So these are the three Defender products, Defender for Endpoint products that we have within the Microsoft portfolio. And as you can see, with customers under 300 users or 300 employees, Defender for Business is our key offering for businesses with less than 300 employees. It contains the most of our capabilities with the Defender for Endpoint P2, with some exceptions like threat hunting. And some other features have been simplified for ease of use for SMB IT generalists. So we are able to bring enterprise grade and premium capabilities to the SMBs. That is the end of mine and Lauren's part. If you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat and I will hand back over to Sean.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Lauren. I'm sure you will agree that was really interesting to cover so many points, and there was a lot crammed into the last 45 minutes. So I expect there are a lot of questions that we can help answer. Yeah, if you want to put them into the chat, we will wait around and sort of try and reply to them after this session. But if you think of issues or questions after this event, you can always reach out to your account manager directly, or if you wish, you can send a more generic email into info@akita.co.uk. We will reply to them all. Because there was a lot to take in there, as I said earlier, we will be sharing this webinar with you, so you've got the opportunity to go back over particular sections or indeed share them with others if you want to sort of talk around those topics. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us all. I'm sure we'll be doing some more of these over the course of the next few months. We've picked some topics that are all relevant to everybody, and this had a really good take up, so it definitely resonated with a lot of our clients. So yeah, thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.